Hey everyone, it's Dr. Ahmed Al-Hassani here from the Institute of Digital Dentistry. And today we're reviewing the Straumann SIRIOS X3. And this one's significant because when Straumann acquired Alliedstar in 2023 and then launched the original SIRIOS in 2024, they were essentially rebadging excellent Alliedstar hardware. Well, the SIRIOS X3 changes that. This is the first Straumann scanner that's genuinely different from Alliedstar. Their own design, their own vision. The question is, has this transition been successful? Let's find out. Okay, so the SIRIOS X3 looks completely different from the original SIRIOS. At 240 grams, it's slightly lighter and much smaller in physical size, even smaller than the Alliedstar sensor and a lot of wireless scanners on the market right now. The build quality is also noticeably higher. The materials, the finishing, the packaging, everything, the travel case just feels a bit more premium. The black color scheme remains with a minimalistic Straumann logo down here, which looks nice. I mean, they are basically the Rolex of dentistry. And overall, the scanner feels small in the hand. Now, one feature carried over from Alliedstar is the dual scanner button design. 2 buttons either side. And I've said this before many times, I like this. It allows you to hold the scanner in any way and always have a button in reach. Additionally, however, there's this action mode button on the top, which you can change in the software, but I keep it on default, and it basically helps me move through the scanning windows. Everything is pretty standard for a scanner in the modern age right now. The other little addition compared to the previous generation Straumann scanner is the LED ring at the top, and this provides all the usual real-time feedback about the scanner status. It's subtle, but it's a nice premium addition. We are seeing this with most of the market leaders. Now, the X3 is a wireless scanner with an integrated battery at the back. It can't be replaced, it can't be removed, but it does support fast charging. 50% in 60 minutes, the company says, delivering over 2 hours of continuous scanning. It charges through this little scanner dock or cradle via USB-C, and although I have found some little issue here, and it's minor, maybe I'm being pedantic, but when I fit the scanner in the cradle, there is a little bit of movement here, and I would have loved this to be a little tighter. When I move my cart around, I do see the scanner jiggle, and it makes me a little uneasy, but overall, the finish is a huge advantage and a huge upgrade compared to the original SIRIOS. Now, the X3 comes with 4 scanner tips in the box, and they are all the same size, just like the sensor, because essentially this is the same scanning architecture and hardware inside. Now, with this single scanner tip size, Straumann does claim that it suits various applications and indications. I will say some may prefer multiple tip sizes, especially with the rise of the large tip sizes and large FOV tips. And I personally would have liked the larger tip option, but these tips are not small by any regard, and they do work. So the tips are autoclavable up to 180 times, and it costs $80 per pair, so $40 per scanner tip. And when you equate the 180 cycles, that's about 30 cents per patient scan. Now, one advantage of the Straumann SIRIOS X3 is that it's completely calibration free. No calibration tools to store or purchase if they get lost, no time spent, etc. So it's one less thing to worry about. Now, the X3 maintains excellent scanning performance based on the Alliedstar hardware. I've already reviewed the sensor, and I can say that this scanner is fast and enjoyable to use. And frankly, the Alliedstar scanning architecture I find is one of the easiest to use. The scanner handles all indications well: single units, multiple preps, full arches, implants, orthodontic cases. It's really what we come to expect from a scanner in 2025, 2026, and beyond. Modern intraoral scanners work. However, what the software does is provide very effective AI-driven filtering. For example, for Edentulous scanning, the X3 performs very well. And I would say only around 5 scanner manufacturers do Edentulous scanning really well right now. And what it comes down to is the software and the AI. I mean, scanning speed alone is only half the picture, so it's nice to see the scanner perform very well. The other thing that Straumann has created for the software is a dedicated full arch workflow that groups all scans into a single patient case. And this is just a nice organizational feature without having to open multiple cases for a single patient, especially for those complex cases. So I think what sets the SIRIOS X3 apart is really the stitching algorithms, because like the sensor, like the Alliedstar scanners, these are some of the most foolproof I've experienced. It's genuinely hard to get stitching errors. It handles soft tissue well without getting stuck, and it's genuinely useful for challenging anatomy or for beginners. Now, what's interesting is that the default scanning textures in the SIRIOS have changed. The original SIRIOS used to create photo-like textures, and this time around, by default, the textures are more cartoon-like, and this is no doubt to improve post-processing speeds. I do find the textures in the SIRIOS X3 a little bit dark. Now, there is a high contrast color setting that restores the photo-like textures that we're used to with the original SIRIOS, although it does make post-processing take longer. Whichever setting you use, again, I find the colors and the value of the scans just a little dark, and I do find that this is something that the company could improve, especially to compete with the likes of Trios, MEDIT, or Shining 3D. Now, accuracy-wise, the X3 inherits the solid Alliedstar technology, and our testing, it is consistently accurate across clinical indications. For restorative cases, I mean, accuracy is more than adequate, margins are clear, mesh quality is good for CAD, etc. This is kind of expected for a leading company in 2025, but it's nice to see that it checks the boxes. Software is where things get really interesting for Straumann because they've invested heavily in development, and the X3 benefits from this. The software has been redesigned with a cleaner interface since the original SIRIOS, and Straumann really wants you to use the Axis platform. As soon as you click the software, it automatically opens a web browser for you to log in. Now, this is another part I feel like could be improved and built into the SIRIOS software rather than opening a web browser. I just think it would feel a little bit more cohesive. Now, after logging in, the UI focuses now on a workflow-centric design, and this is something we are seeing across the entire market. It's a lot less cluttered than the original, and you can start scanning immediately with a quick scan button or click other workflow options such as crown and bridge, full arch, co-diagnostics, or clear correct. So everything is based around workflows, and I like to see this. I think this is the future of scanning lab forms. Now, when you want to start a scan, the scanner software itself is built into the same program rather than opening another window or another software like Alliedstar. Feels a bit more premium and speeds up the workflow. Now, all the standard features are here that we're used to with scanning: pre-op scans, toggling color, adjusting AI filtering, etc. The UI now includes some helpful tips and animations for new users, teaching you how to connect the scanner, how to scan, etc. Now, another thing that I feel like could use some improvement is that for some reason you can't complete a case without scanning upper, lower, and bite. So you can't just scan a single arch, and you also can't easily add extra scan windows. They're built into the specific workflows. The other thing with the software is currently you can only take 2 bites, and there's no multiple or dynamic bite options. So there's a little bit of groundwork, I feel, for the SIRIOS X3 to catch up to the market leaders and really fight and compete with MEDIT, Trios, etc., which have been around a long time, and their software shows maturation. Otherwise, I have to say, the software feels a lot faster and more responsive than the original SIRIOS. Bite scans seem accurate. The software includes AI-driven automation. For example, in full arch cases, AI can duplicate scans, of course, but it also automatically filters out scan bodies, allowing rescanning of only relevant areas. So it's clear that Straumann has worked a lot on their software, and I look forward to seeing them improve it further. To me, the SIRIOS X3 is designed as the entry point to Straumann's digital ecosystem, and access is central to all of that. As mentioned, upon starting the software, you are prompted to log in, and what this means is that scans are automatically uploaded to Axis. Cloud storage and access to all Straumann's digital services comes with that. So patient data synchronizes between Sirius and Access simultaneously. Now, Access integrates with various Straumann solutions, and they have some of the best in the industry. Smile in a Box, Implant Registry, Co-Diagnostic, Midas for chairside printing, Rapid Shape integration, notably Smile Cloud, which is famous smile design software, the ClearCorrect portal, eShop, and education. So to me, it is frankly quite amazing to see what Straumann is building out. They are one of the few companies with all these different pieces, but the Access integration isn't 100% seamless yet. For example, quite a few features still open up in a web browser, and although it works, it's just not as elegant to have everything in the software itself as a native integration. To Straumann's credit, they are working on this. It's improved a lot since the original Sirius, but I feel like, again, there's still work to do. There's a bit of groundwork to match platforms like MEDIT Link or 3Shape Communicate. Now, the other thing is Access ecosystem isn't as open as some other platforms. If you use third-party CAD software or lab workflows, integration is of course less comprehensive, and there is focus on Straumann products for obvious reasons. To be honest, most companies do that. The scanner also has some basic apps, a model builder and scan compare. These are functional. Model builder is built into the software. Scan compare, you have to log into the web browser, and it's a bit basic and again limited compared to some of the competitors, but let's hope they work on that too. Now, Straumann's decision to host application in Access represents a cloud-centric philosophy. The pros are you can access from any device, there's remote work opportunities, automatic updates, but the cons are you need internet connectivity. And of course, it just feels like a less integrated experience, as I do find myself jumping between the Sirius software and also the Access portal on a web browser, and this jumping back and forth I feel like could be improved. However, overall the scanner works very well, and I think it's an excellent scanner, to be honest with you. I mean, Alliedstar scanners have been great for many years, and the Straumann SIRIOS X3 adopts a lot of the scanning architecture. As a scanner and using it day to day, it's exceptional and it works just like you would expect from any market leader at the moment. I think what really needs to improve is the software in the coming years. So what is the price of this? The SIRIOS X3 is priced at $17,995 USD. So in the mid to premium segment, alongside things like the MEDIT i900 Classic at $18,999 USD. But more affordable than the Elite, the Lumina, Trios 5 or 6 and other market leaders. So obviously competitively priced. Now all core functionality and apps are included for free with the SIRIOS X3. There is an optional subscription called the Straumann Excellence Club, and this is $1,200 yearly. It is included in the first year, but there's an optional renewal for the 2 additional years after that. This includes all the standard things: extended warranty, accidental damage protection, priority support, customer care, etc. Similar to Trios Care, but notably with the SIRIOS X3, it is one of the most affordable warranty and services packages. To me, the SIRIOS X3 represents a pivotal moment for the company. This is the first scanner that feels like Straumann's own product, not just the Alliedstar rebadge. Even though, yes, we know the internals and scanning architecture is Alliedstar sensor-based. However, I have to say the lightweight design, it is a lot smaller, the premium construction, and also the maturing software show that Straumann is serious about competing in this market. Hardware-wise, it delivers excellent scan speeds, good ergonomics, calibration-free, solid accuracy, everything that you want from a scanner in 2025 and beyond. Where Straumann has really made progress is the software. The refined UI, full arch workflows, and growing Access ecosystem show real commitment by the company. Consider this again. Straumann is one of the only companies with all the digital pieces: digital acquisition, smile design software, CAD, surgical guide software, CAM, implants, and now a 3D printer. They just need to make all the pieces work together cohesively and seamlessly. That's the challenge, and that's what they're competing with well-established players like MEDIT, 3Shape, Shining 3D, which have had years to refine their platforms and build third-party integration. The Sirius X3's ecosystem is functional and growing, but isn't yet as comprehensive and really only integrates seamlessly with Straumann's ecosystem. Although, of course, it is an open scanner as we expect these days, with free file exports of all file types. So for practices already invested in Straumann products and are looking for validated workflows, ecosystem integration, and excellent education that Straumann provides, this can create genuine value. Sirius X3, Access, and Midas currently represent one of the few truly complete chairside workflows from a single manufacturer, even though, of course, the Midas is a rebadge of Sprint Race printer. Though I have to say the Straumann Midas is somewhat locked to Straumann print cartridges, but this is a story for another day. At $17,995, the X3 provides good value with lower running costs compared to many other competitors. Platforms like MEDIT or 3Shape may still have advantages, but Straumann is catching up. There's still ground to cover, but if Straumann continues investing in their software and integrates their entire ecosystem, the Sirius platform will become increasingly compelling over the next 1-2 years, I believe. Overall, to me, the Sirius X3 shows that Straumann has successfully transitioned from scanner market outsider to legitimate contender. Because as we all know, it's not about just having a good scanner anymore. It's about having a complete digital ecosystem. And that's exactly what Straumann is building, and I think it's going to be an exciting 2026. That wraps up my review of the Straumann Sirius X3. To read the full written review, go to instituteofdigitaldentistry.com. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.